I mean, it's a bit cliche, but all, you know, I'd say all we need is love and recognizing that everybody has something about them. It's just that I believe our light has been dimmed by our experiences, especially, you know, negative experiences, but it's still there. It's still there.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to this special episode of Harmony Helpers. I am with Susan Malone-Hoyle today. She's an author and also a therapist, and she loves to go into the shining of everyone, the shine your light experience that everyone can has, no matter their surroundings, no matter how they grew up, no matter their circumstances. So I would say, as a therapist who has worked with lots of different kind of people, you put your focus on to the ones who might not even find any light in themselves. Is that true? And would you like to introduce yourself today for us?
Yes, thank you, Marlene. Thank you for having me today. Yes, I'm Susan Malone-Hoyle. I'm a therapist in the UK and well, in Bristol at the moment. And I've worked very much in the front line, what people call the front line of therapy, which is with people who have may have been experienced homelessness or addiction. Most of my career, 20 plus years of my career, has been spent with people with issues in addiction or homelessness or severe mental health issues.
Wonderful. And you got called to write a book, Shine Your Light, and you might want to name the entire title, which also points out a couple of things. What is that about, and how did you come to write this book?
Well, in 2004, I did a course on self-esteem. I was working with people who came out of prison. Some experienced having time in prison, some experienced homelessness, quite severe drug issues, and were in the mire of that. And I did a self-esteem course. And I was thinking, people are people. People need love. People need time. People need to be listened to. We are all human beings on this planet. And when you start to work with people, no matter what their experience is, you start to realize the goodness in them, in their hearts, and the kindness and the warmth, and how their experiences have affected them, but also the strength and the survival of their experiences. And after doing the self-esteem course, I decided to implement a program within the area I was working for a charity. And I just saw change happen. Not quickly, but little changes happening. People realizing that they are more than their experience. And the more I delved into that and the research and the years of therapy that I've done over time, it's worked. It's worked. I've supported, hopefully, lots of people to learn to like, if not love themselves, and to learn that their experiences are just that, and that they can change those experiences. I ran a program, for instance, where people came to me with addiction issues. They became abstinent, and then they moved on to the next stage where they did volunteering and perhaps went to college. And then we had 3 stages where they would do some employment, and some people I employed myself from those programs, and some got married, some had children, some lived very fruitful lives. So I've seen people on the journey of change, and just having that support and effort put in, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a bit cliche, but all, I'd say all we need is love and recognizing that everybody has something about them. Everybody has something. It's just that I believe our light has been dimmed by our experiences, especially, negative experiences. But it's still there. It's still there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. And as we just heard, there is a reason for your book to have the subtitle, How to Increase Your Self-Esteem and Live Your Best Life. So
Yes.
it's not like artificially boost your ego or have a strong feeling from within, but really to discover where the glimpse of your soul is. Is that true?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
allow that to shine and radiate so that you don't need
Yes.
to go to a place where you feel you need to numb yourself with certain addictions or whatever it is.
Yes. Whatever.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what would you say is the key element to moving from an addiction to a best life ever, you could say?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to go back to the beginning, if you don't mind, just a little bit of the beginning, because I don't know how many, people are parents out there or mothers. Imagine the child is born. That's what made me write the book, really. It's the child, a little baby is born, and they're full of wonder, and the light is shining from them. Sadly, some children don't have that continued by the parents, and the parent isn't lifting them, helping them grow, helping them realize their potential and who they are, and the lots of love and nurturing. So therefore, having had some of those experiences people have worked with, and I'm not saying all, but a lot have had perhaps negative parental experiences, it's about supporting them to understand that they can do the reparative work themselves, the reparenting, and supporting people to do the repair work and reparenting to then come back to themselves, because we all come from those little wonders.
Wow, that's so true. Meaning reparenting, you being parent to yourself.
Yes.
True? Yes. Oh, I love it. I really
Yes. Yes.
not blaming others for what happened to you, not
No.
waiting for others to be the parent you wish for, really stepping into that nourishing role yourself, taking your power back to yourself
Yes.
and
Yes.
like the perfect nurture for yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
And taking responsibility. I'm not, if I'll hold the book up, if for those that do read it, it's about, there is a title or a chapter on forgiveness. I'm not somebody that actually encourages blame, because I think everybody does the best of their ability with the tools that they have. And the reasons why cycles of behavior keep happening is because that's what we learn. So our norm, our experiences is our norm. So therefore we bring that forward as a norm rather than actually, and it's not until we question, is this the way to be? Yeah, should I do things differently or receive help from someone, that we can identify that and then make changes. It's not an easy journey. I'm not far from it. It's not an easy journey. And people that have worked with me will say so. Yeah, it's not an easy journey, but if it's about choice, giving people choice to change as well,
Wonderful.
offering choice.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
from my perspective, choicefulness is everything. Always when we drop into a place where we feel everything is decided for us, we're a victim of time and circumstances and people, and we fall into almost a freeze state of beingness
yeah,
where we feel we can't move properly, we can't make decisions that are supportive of ourselves, of our lifestyle, of our imagined lifestyle. So we
yeah,
might unconsciously, or yeah, I would say unconsciously, withdraw from what we really wish to live.
yeah,
So you seem to allow people to come back into their power by feeling the choicefulness
Yes.
and also taking responsibility for the choices they might have made. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it is about taking responsibility. It's not about giving ourselves a hard time, same as it's not about blaming others for our experiences, but it's about identifying if you want to change, well, change can happen now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes those small steps to support change and repeating positive, because we're very good as human beings repeating negative behavior. We're very good at thinking negative thoughts. We can do that all day long, thousands and thousands of negative. But when you ask somebody to think something positively about themselves, they often get a bit stunned. Yeah.
That is so true. Yes. So it's also practicing to receive positivity, to receive love, to receive
Yeah.
compliments, to receive benevolence, you could say, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And building trust in the relationship is really important. This is the first, writing this book is the first time I've, clients of mine, that people I've worked with, are seeing that I've had experiences now. They wouldn't have known that the times they've worked with me. They wouldn't have known that I've had negative experiences in my life.
That's a very interesting point here, since many of those who might watch our conversation might be in a place where they already are of huge service for others or feel how beneficial they are for others.
Yes.
Yet there are times that might be tough, even if we are in a high vibration with others, even if we are supportive and felt to be like the tower in
Yeah.
stormy times, or the anchor. It's still two different things to be of service and to be the one who experiences life as an individual being with all its facets.
Yes.
What would
Yeah.
you like to share on this issue?
I think we all have something to offer, and experiences negative, or positive. I mean, we need to be sharing those to help people. People, human beings, we like to identify. We like to be able to identify with somebody's. That's why, a lot of like the 12-step fellowship does so well, because people have identification and they swap that and they share their journeys together. Certain support groups do so well because people are identifying each other. They're not feeling alone with whatever their experience is. And that's, if we were allowing ourselves more to share ourselves rather than hide and, or try to be something inauthentic, yeah, how useful is that, I wonder?
That is so true.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it happens that people get into a lifestyle of serving,
Yes.
and then life happens to them as well, and they kind of can't hold it up anymore, or really, I mean, many people have taken their own lives for that reason because they felt so unreal to others, especially stage people. So people who are actors, or who are singers, or who are highly celebrated, they oftentimes have or come to a point where they feel that what they say and what they are as an image of person does not match their true life anymore. And then there's two things: either to really be authentic and
Yeah.
find your folks, I would say your support circle. And it does not mean that you find them on stage, maybe, but
Yeah.
it is really being honest with yourself and the others. And then there might be the shift into choicefulness. Where would you see that shift?
Yeah. Well, firstly, is for me, it's about being honest with self first. We have to start with self. and then giving ourselves choice of what we share, because it's also not about, and I do say this to people, it's not about meeting someone or going to a group and sharing your whole life story, because that's an exposure, that's a vulnerability that you may withdraw from the group after having that experience that may be too painful for you. That's why I often I call them baby steps when I work with people. It's taking the little steps that feels comfortable. And if it feels uncomfortable, we come back, because it's learning that natural protection for self as well. And also boundaries. Often people, have experience, or children haven't had any experience of boundaries. What keeps me safe? What's the risk? So again, it's very much about learning the boundaries. That's why I put worksheets in the book for people to kind of follow, and so they can sit on their own and go through the questions themselves and really be honest. They don't have to share it with anyone. And then they can review back after time when they, experiences changes.
Wonderful.
I
That
hope
would
I
have been
answered that.
yes, that would have been my next question. So you coming from a place of helping people who have led street lives and have been in addictions and tough situations, now offering a book that also might speak to very spiritual people, right? So
Yes.
how do you shift all this information or draw that into this book?
Okay. Well, it's a small book, but the number 2 is much bigger. So I've gone right into detail. So this is a brief overview of certain subjects like relationships, boundaries, shame, addiction. So I've given an overview in the first book just to give people a glimpse, and also see us. I want to say it's probably quite challenging for people to hear, but I want people to see us as human beings, because we have this, my experience, we have this tendency to judge others who've had this experience. But yeah, I've met many people in my field of work that maybe go home and have a bottle of wine after work and feel that they need to have that because of their stress. So, and I know that sounds a bit extreme from the addiction to, but it's, there's people that have addictions to work. There's people that do excessive exercise. There's people that, maybe like sugar a lot. I want to bring us, the book as well, I want us to bring us together as human beings. We all have certain behaviours that we do to manage life.
Wow. So,
It's quite
all,
I'm a challenging therapist. I should have said that.
sorry?
I should have said I'm quite challenging as a therapist.
It's perfect. I love it. So you would say that in the book, since you have the self-questioning elements, you really not speak to one group of people, but you speak to the individual that has all of what it is and what it not is to integrate into their lives so
Yes.
that they feel the choicefulness of themselves. They feel the light that they are, and they can shine it as bright as they wish in every moment. Is that true?
Yes. Yes. And it's not about the ego. It's not about I am better than you or another person. It's not about it's not about the ego at all. It's about remembering the little person. I'm sure we all have tales to. I certainly have tales to tell when I was a little person, and I still am that person. I've grown, but the qualities I had as a little person, I still have. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not about power as in powerful dynamics or better than. It's about allowing us all to know that we have those qualities, that we can water them like a plant and they can grow.
Wonderful. And it's never too late, right? You have that inside of you from the beginning. And it's not that it dies, this tiny little plant. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah. 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 It's allowing yourself to accept all of you, because of course we have shadow sides, what they call shadow sides. All elements of us. It's not about giving ourselves a hard time or beating ourselves up about experiences we've had. It's about saying, okay, I did that. Don't feel great about it. Feel a bit sad, but I'm not doing that anymore. And I can move on and I can change the picture. I can keep changing the picture. It doesn't have to stay the same.
Wonderful. Yes, yes. It's very powerful.
Mm.
Do you bring in your own story into the book, or is it more for others to reflect on themselves?
I share a part of my journey in the book, which is the beginning. So I shared things that I felt might be useful, but not all. Otherwise, it would be rather a large book. And then I would have gone on and on. And I didn't want it to be, it's not about me. So I kind of went, well, I've had this experience and this is me now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So the first
Yes.
part is yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. So it's enough to relate,
It's enough to relate. Yes.
not like going through the entire book, reflecting on your personal experiences, but really going step by step through the different areas. You said it is more of an overview, so it's not the only book. Is that true?
That's correct. Yes. So I'm on the second one because people I've worked with are also shared some of their journeys. There's some people I've worked with have shared their journeys in the first book. And I was asked by people that have come to my courses and of self-esteem and have read the book if I could write another one in much more depth, that certain people felt prepared to take the next step. So I said I would. And in those conversations, so the second one's coming through, I haven't got a title yet, but the second one's coming through. In those conversations, there's also a third book, but it's not to do with self-esteem. It's to do with not being a mother. So I've actually got a third book coming out as well, which is women who aren't mothers. And that is also through choice or not. And I decided to bring women together in that as well.
That's very powerful and up to date, I would say.
Mm.
There's probably lots of discussion around these
Yes.
topics.
Yeah.
Maybe we are going to have another conversation about that. So
That would be nice.
that would
Be nice.
yes. And I am curious now to hear a little passage of your Shine Your Light book, if that would be
Yes.
okay, so that we
That's,
get an idea how it feels to read
yeah.
that book.
I decided not to do something practical. Hopefully the lighting is good. I chose somebody's journey rather than my own because I thought this young person had written so eloquently to explain self-esteem. So I decided to choose her journey.
That's great.
So this is a young teenager who came to see me. When asked if I'd like to write about myself in this book, I responded with laughter. This was because when considering, I found myself confronted with the thought of my story is not good enough. This reflects the whole concept of what we are talking about, self-esteem. And so my answer was clear. I think the journey of loving yourself is lifelong, but the process allows you to utterly understand yourself and how you want to live your life. Growing up, we're told we're commodities that makes us valuable: intelligence, beauty, talent. We are told that the value lies within ourselves. We are not told of the tools that feed that validation. Validation is a key word in this. It is what many of us determine our self-worth from, as we live in a society where we feel we are only as good as what people say about us. I speak of this subject as if I were in a good place at the moment. I must confirm this is not true. I'm only at the start of my journey, which starts with understanding and embracing. This may seem painful and unnecessary. There is no quick fix. But there can be no healing without understanding. This started when I began therapy with Susan. At first, it just seemed like I met her each week to express my thoughts and feelings without being judged or receiving those horrified looks. However, these absolute truths in my mind, embedded in my addiction, became to unfold within the therapy. And I was able to start acknowledging the reality behind them. This enabled me to separate my true self of love, kindness, and creativity from the gremlin, Susan calls it, of the suffering, hatred, and abuse that exists within us as human. Self-esteem, I believe, is to be the foundation that determines how we live our lives. For many of us, the foundation is weak and rotting in the soil. However, this is not visible from the house in which we live. Our enjoyment of life is dependent on how we value ourselves. It dictates the nature of our thoughts, actions, habits, and relationships. In society, relationships that we have with ourselves is very much subconscious and often not embodied, as we run around in circles causing harm to ourselves without understanding why. For me, that was an eating disorder. When active in my illness, I had no concept of my self-esteem or how it is affecting me. It is something deep within us, which makes it often inaccessible. I could not explain to anyone why I would do such a thing to myself at that time. There was no explanation. There did not need to be. It felt right. It felt I had a purpose and validated something deep within me. What I now know is to be my flagging self-esteem, causing such pain to myself, felt addictive and fulfilling to the point where I had no concept of the real world.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I could have read more. I just felt her expression of it felt very powerful, so I thought I'd choose her part.
Yes, it is so powerful. I feel that it's like the perfect example for what we have spoken about before. And the key of acknowledging and accepting what is and what is within us and what we feel, how we perceive the world, and what behavior we choose as well. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it gives a very good idea what this book might give to someone who reads it, or
Yeah.
I would say trigger in someone or allow in someone who reads it and works with it. As you said, there are like worksheets in there, fun
Yeah.
sheets. So of course you said it's kind of work in terms of not always the cozy thing to do, or you know.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's challenging ourselves. If we want change, change can be painful. I describe it like the caterpillar to the butterfly. You know, the caterpillar goes through this painful process and then it becomes this amazing, beautiful creature. Not that it's not beautiful as a caterpillar, because it is, but you know, but it is a painful process.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. It's a painful process, but you don't put yourself under force. Is that true?
That's true. Yes. Each person that's shared their journey in the book, each person that I've worked with over the years, it's at their pace. You know, there's no time frame on changes, and we choose which changes we'd like to make. Forgiveness, for instance, you know, I wrote a chapter on forgiveness, and I was honest and said, you know, it took me years. There was one person that I was hanging on to that was in almost like had me inside me, that I struggled to forgive, but eventually I did. Yeah, so things like that, forgiveness, we don't, you know, we don't go there. We start with loving self, nurturing self, building self-care, self-worth before we even look at over there.
It is so wonderful. Yes. So shine your light is really about coming from within and going in your own pace into
Yeah.
all the all the areas that are there, and you can choose this one or that one or withdraw from that one
Yes.
until it feels good, right? We really do not add pressure to ourselves. It is a natural allowing of who we are.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. The natural process of growing and changing and learning and encouragement like that. I kind of imagine this kind of nurturing parent coming from inside saying, it's okay, you're doing really well. It's like baby steps, yes. And I have been known to do all of that in sessions, which often people kind of really react to initially. Yay. But it's important. If you haven't had that in life, it's really important that you have the support of another person, or yourself. Bring out your own nurturing parent to yourself to help
That's
those
so
steps.
true. And
Yeah.
that brings me to the question, do you feel that we need a support team in one way or the other as individuals?
Human beings, I think, need human beings. Yes, I do think that's quite I'm finding that quite a tough question, and the reason, Malane, is that I'm finding that hard is because the world we live in today, and vulnerable people can be at risk in today's society. So it's being mindful. People I work with, I'm always asking them to be mindful of who they allow into their life and listen to themselves intuitively regarding trust and building relationships. But there's some wonderful people in the world as well. There's some wonderful people that like yourself, that wouldn't, harm another human being, and that would, allow them into their lives and trust in them. Yeah. So, but there is that dance that we do, especially if we've had a history of being vulnerable, or we've had a history where we haven't been able to trust people around us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It sounds to me as if the number of supporters is not as important as the genuinity, you could say.
That's it. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wonderful.
A small group is enough. We don't need hundreds of people. But if you want hundreds of people and you want hundreds of people, that's wonderful. Personally, I don't have hundreds of people, but
Right. Right. Perfect. Yes.
yeah.
I have really, really enjoyed our conversation. What would be the one thing that you would want everyone to know about themselves, or just to have something to part with when we go into maybe sneak peeking into the book or just into our lives after this conversation?
We all have that light. We are all wonderful human beings. We are not our experiences. We all are that little child that's, in wonder of the world. And nobody was born bad. Everybody was born as this beautiful child. We're all these beautiful children. And to remember that. We're all grown now. Some of us.
Oh, wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And we all deserve to be loved. Everybody deserves to be loved.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, to that. So, how can people get in touch with you if they feel you being part of their support team or potentially part of their support team?
Well, they can contact me via email. My website isn't out until next month. But I don't know if you could post it as a link on the bottom with my email, because you have my email as well. And I'd love people to read the book if they're drawn to it, if they choose to. Yeah, and hopefully I will see you again and have another chat. But yeah, just we're all good people. We're doing our absolute best in life, and that's the most important thing.
Perfect, wonderful. I will put the information
Thank
into
you.
the description of this video and
Thank you.
also the link to the book so that it's
Yeah.
easy to find. And I am very, very sure that those who feel drawn to it know that in their hearts by now.
Yeah.
Thank you so, so
Thank
very much
you.
for your presence here with me
Yeah.
today. I really enjoyed the
Yeah.
conversation with you, and I'm very much looking forward to having another one, maybe
Yes.
about the next book sometime soon.
That would be lovely. Yeah. And it'd be lovely to see you again. I really appreciate you taking the time out today to invite me. So thank you very much.